Hello, students, and welcome to another 6th grade math episode with me, your host, Mr. Nerlich. So today we're working on lesson 4.3, dividing mixed numbers. Now, last time we divided fractions. So dividing mixed numbers takes it just a step further, but also uses a lot of the key concepts in dividing fractions. So when you divide mixed numbers, all we're doing is we're writing the mixed number as a fraction, and we're multiplying the reciprocal and then we're going to multiply the dividend by the reciprocal of the divisor. Which, if you recall, this part where these last two terms is just dividing fractions. So then all we have to do is change the mixed number to a fraction. All right, another way to do this, we can use models to help represent the problem. We're going to use models to help us represent the problem. Okay, so we're going to be looking at Bob, and he's going to be making some sushi rolls. Okay, and for some of you, models may be helpful because it gives a visualization to the problem and can help make the problem easier. For others, the method we're going to do in example 2, as we did with dividing fractions, may be easier for you. So it's totally up to you. All right, so we look at our example here, and we have this model drawn out. Okay. And so before I finish the model, the problem says Bob is making sushi rolls. He has 2 1/2 cups of rice and will use 1/4 cup of rice for each sushi roll. So how many sushi rolls can Bob make? So the model is just dividing up the problem into the top is our mixed number, which is 2 1/2. That is our dividend. And then our divisor is 1/4. I'm just dividing the parts on top of our model into fourths. And we know that there's 4/4 in one whole because 4 over 4 equals 1. And then there's 2/4 in 1/2 because 2/4 when simplified is 1/2. All right, so the question we need to ask is how many fourths are in 2 1/2? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 fourths in 2 1/2. So Bob can make 10 sushi rolls. Your teachers are going to reiterate this and tell you many, many times. It is super important that you label your answers and that you label information as you're working through the problem. The number one thing that kids make mistakes in is they don't label their work and then they forget what does this information mean later. And then when asked about it, like, I did it, but I don't remember. So always label information. Sometimes in problems, you're going to get information that has nothing to do with the problem and you're just going to cross it out. Or you might put a note next to it, do not need. Okay. So you want to make sure because some problems are going to have more steps to them and when you're solving a word problem, you want to be able to break it down into the smallest steps and break it down so it's understandable to you. And a great way of doing that is by labeling the information in the problem and also labeling your answers. Because we want to know that Bob made 10 sushi rolls because that's the question. How many sushi rolls can Bob make? So we don't just want to say 10. We want to say Bob can make 10 sushi rolls. All right, so if models are not your thing and you're like, I don't want to draw that out, that's too much work. Let's do another way. So example number 2, we have 17 1/2 divided by 1 2/3. fifths. Okay, so as we remember, I taught you in a couple lessons ago, we said in order to change a mixed number to a fraction, we have to get mad. So the first thing we're going to do is get mad. Multiply, add, divide. So first I'm going to multiply 34. Hold on. We're going to multiply 2 times 17, and then we're going to add. And then we're going to keep our denominator the same. So 17 times 2 equals 34. That's where 34 comes from. 34 plus 1 equals 35. And then we keep our denominator of 2, so we have 35 over 2. All right, let's get mad for this one. So we have 5 times 1 equals 5. 5 plus 2 equals 7. And so then we have 7 over 5. Next, we're going to multiply them. Wait, before we multiply, so we have this. All I did, honestly, all we first did, to see, you're gonna make mistakes like I just made a mistake. We're gonna have 35 over 2 divided by 7 over 5. Okay. This, and I almost skipped this step, is very important we do this, okay? That looks like subtraction. You can't see. There you go. All right, so this is very important that we do this, and because you're going to forget that we didn't take the reciprocal yet, and then you're going to multiply, and you're going to get an incorrect answer. So this actually now has to change. We're going to change it to 35 over 2 times the reciprocal, which is 5 over 7. Now we've simplified the problem and written it in the correct way from what we started with. So we broke it down. So let's look. We got mad. We came up with our fractions, our improper fractions. Then we rewrote it as division. So it reminded us that we have to take the reciprocal and change to multiplication. So now let's see. Can I do anything with 2 and 5? Well, no, because we know 5's a prime number and it's odd and 2's even, so that's not going to work. 7's prime, but can 7 go into 35? And the answer is yes. It can go in 5 times. 7 goes into 7 once. So I have 5 times 5, which equals 25. And then I have 2 times 1, which equals 2. Okay. So now we need to simplify this. And I say, how many times does 2 go into 25? And that would be 12. Okay, and then I would have 25 minus, because 2 times 12 is 24. There's 1 left over, so 12 and 1/2 would be your answer. And you kind of knew that it'd have to be a half because when you're working with 2 as your denominator, if you have another, if this was 26 over 2, it would be 13. So the only way you're going to have a fraction when you have a 2 as your denominator is if the numerator is 1. But it's always good just to double check to make sure that we solved it correctly. All right. So that is how we would solve it using this method. So you have 2 methods. You have the model method and you have, this is what they call the standard algorithm. You pick whatever way you want to do to solve it. And there are some problems to try on your own. Good luck and keep soaring, Falcons. Have a great day.